happen. I think for whatever reason, the video got stopped. So I'll live stream and give you an intro. So, y'all that watch my videos, it's a hockey related channel, but I don't live stream. I just don't. It's not something that comes to me inherently in my nature where I want to get in the mic and be on 24/7. And it's one of the reasons why I really respect people that live stream daily. I mean, it's a grind. I think if I had, and this is what I'm hoping, I'm actually going to talk to Flying Fluffy. I'm hoping to kind of get back into the swing of doing podcasts and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, live streaming is just generally not my thing, and I don't look down on it. It's just, yeah, it's not for me generally. But I think I'm going to start when I go on these walks, start documenting some of them, kind of keep myself accountable. Maybe I make these a half hour long. Generally, on these walks, I'm out for a few hours. I'm not sure if anyone's even going to be interested in seeing these at this time. So, long story short, I had a hip surgery a couple years ago. Yeah, a couple years. Actually, yeah, about a couple years ago at this point. And it took away a lot of my mobility. It took away a lot of my ability to live a happy life, if I'm being kind of frank. And due to that, your boy gained a lot of weight. I, never gonna say I was like some slender thing or tiny thing. After I stopped playing hockey after college, I definitely put on the pounds, but gained a little bit of extra weight. And I'm just looking at things. I'm like, I want to be around for a while. I want to take care of myself, and I think by doing that, you got to physically take care of yourself. I just turned 34. June 15th was my birthday, and I hate to say it, as you get older, you realize like you're running out of time in some sense, right? And I don't want to be in my 40s maximizing, or I should say, decreasing my quality of life. And that's why I think it's kind of important to try to get on it now. I mean, I've lost about 10 pounds the last 6 weeks, I think 5 weeks. And, due to that, like that's a small cartoon. What? Due to that, I just kind of want to make sure I take care of myself because it's funny when it comes to weight stuff. Um, Honestly, hey, what's going on? Appreciate you popping in there, Bruce. Appreciate that. It's funny, like this is unhealthy to say, but I'll just be honest. Um, One of my main coping mechanisms is late night eating, right? So when you're stressed, depressed, feeling overwhelmed, things of that nature, I would get into that bag of eating terrible stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is way further from where I live. So, generally, there's going to be like where I film these are generally like way far from where I live. So, what I do, you're right. Generally, I would like to do these on some trails because there is trails locally um, that I'd like to do. Um, because I really enjoyed that when I had full range of mobility on my hip, and that was kind of always a thing I like to do. Go different trails. I don't even know where the hell I am honestly right now. So we're just gonna we're going up a side street, I guess. This is a main road, but it was one of these things that someone's having a party, I guess. Yeah. But I think it comes down to just trying to understand that I can't keep doing these things, especially as I get older. It's I don't know if this is for a lot of people when they get older, or a lot of former hockey players, because I do actually see some stay in fantastic shape. Some guys definitely lose it like I have. Because you were just so used to, you could eat whatever you wanted when you were younger to a certain extent. Obviously we'd have, nutrients we try to get, protein, stuff of that nature. And yeah, I mean, it definitely didn't instill a good eating habit, because I would remember before games, my big thing was like chicken parm. And I would do that it was just funny. I was like, Jesus Christ, I didn't instill good eating habits, especially when you get away with stuff when you're younger. But now it's like 30, just turned 34, June 15th. I got to take better care of myself. Alex, what's going on? Yo, I just got here. What you doing? I'm going on a walk on some random side streets. Um, you know, quite far from my place, just because I know how weird it can get online when you get near your place. What I'd like to really start doing is, how shall I say, going on trails. I kind of said that, but just trying to start making this a habit, and I think this would be the healthiest way to do so, because it's like the last week or so, I was averaging 5 to 10 miles per day, and I've noticed definitely the stamina has been good. Um, my my legs don't get tired as much, and it's just generally kind of nice. You know, I won't be live streaming the whole walk because I'm probably not going to be done until 9 or so. Like I'm going to try to shoot for like 8 to 10 miles. Um, I'll pop on some music, and unfortunately, right now I can't do that with this current setup. I got to figure out a way to listen to music while while I while I walk and stream, because I don't know, it's nice to hear the birds chirping early in the morning, but it would be kind of nice to like listen to a little common music and just kind of vibe out. And Guap, I appreciate that. Yeah, it is. That's the most difficult part, is starting something new, starting a habit. That's why I've kind of forced myself last week, even with some days where my legs just felt absolutely spent. I just kind of gutted it out. Now, I didn't force myself to do like 8 to 10 miles, but go for a short walk, maybe a mile or two, kind of get the legs moving, and just try to make this routine a habit. Seeing the progress is nice, but remember you have to push through your, probably pushing through bad habits, I'm assuming. I'll give you a second, because I don't know if it's just YouTube acting up with the chat, because YouTube chat can be a little wonky on my end. Oh, plateaus. Yeah, I mean, definitely agreed. That's a big thing, is trying to go through plateaus. My co-host, DEG, from my podcast channel, which we're probably going to try to record some stuff today, but he's a personal trainer. He knows a lot of this stuff, and yeah, I mean, just trying to push through plateaus, because you're going to reach them, right? I took the last couple days off, mainly because I was a bit sick, wasn't feeling too hot. I didn't want to kind of put myself where I just got worse. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been making sure to do, is like when I hit those plateaus, or hit kind of like, oh, I don't want to do this, I at least go out and try to do something, you know. What I really would like to do is join like a street hockey league and an ice hockey, like a men's hockey league. I had something locked up for the men's league, But then they wanted, like, for just 8 weeks, and because I was working, and I'd only be playing maybe every other week, they wanted to pay like $1,000. I'm like, there's no fucking way. No way. It was like a 3 or 4 week. It was a long. I think it was like a 3-month season. Like, I'm used to a couple $100 because you got to pay for ice time. I'm like, there's no way in God's heaven and earth I'm paying like $1K to be an alternate that comes in to fill if there's possible chance to play. So I've been playing a little bit of stick and puck, going to some rinks. I'm in Mass and Rhode Island, even Connecticut actually. Funny enough, with some buddies. I just kind of getting back out there. But to me, I enjoy working. Like, I working out like playing a sport I enjoy. That's kind of like what I really enjoy. I mean, yeah, go up. That was like the crazy part. I was like, 1,000. I'm like, there's no fucking way. Like, are these jerseys made of gold? Like, that's the one thing. Like, are these jerseys made of gold? Like, I better be getting back massages in the locker room. You know, I better be getting treatment like crazy. I better feel like a professional out there. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of, to me, I was like, I love playing ice hockey, but I'm not gonna do that to myself. And I actually looked into it. There are some. This is gonna sound goofy. I'll fully admit this. There are some ball hockey leagues. I remember growing up playing ball hockey in the off season in the summer. Now, for me with hockey, because I did take it very seriously, I played year round. But I remember playing. Uh, I do remember vividly playing ball hockey in the summer. I think it was an organized league, an indoor facility, and then we had an outdoor place. Funny enough, the outdoor place, I'll say it because it's public information anyways. The outdoor place in Cranston still, they actually just, updated their rink, so they're still around. But it was something I would love to do. For whatever reason, on my feed, I'm getting a bunch of like ball hockey clips from like international play. Obviously, I'm not shooting for that level because your boy needs to drop a lot of weight and get back in freaking shape. But yeah, I'd love to find like a ball hockey league or something like that near me right now because that'd be just a ton of fun to play. I absolutely like, for me with exercise, the walks I don't mind because like the birds are chirping early in the morning. It's not too hot out at this point in time, but I more enjoy playing a sport when I'm trying to lose weight. I'm even shooting some hoops, which weird, like around here it's kind of, I don't know, man. Like, a lot of the hoops are like high school places, and it's like feel a little bit weird, especially during the end of the school year. So, Don, hey, appreciate you popping in. Did you want the Oilers to win or the Panthers? So honestly, what's weird about that when it comes to the Panthers, right? People hate that team. I actually, maybe this is just because I am kind of a Bruins fan. I like how they play the game. I could do without some of the cheap stuff with, like, was it Bennett elbowed? Was it Stolarz? Yeah, in the back of the head. Which it looked, I don't know, it looked accidental. I don't know. It's hard to tell because everything happens bang bang. So like some of the dirty stuff I could do without, but how they play the game defensively, 200-foot game, checking, physical. Admittedly, it's a brand of hockey I'd love the Bruins to pick back up, but roster-wise, they really aren't built like that. I mean, after that free agency, we'll see. Would you not? Would you know? But who did I want to win? Honestly, I would have liked to see McDavid win a Stanley Cup and just kind of get over the hump because he's like a world-class player. I wasn't really rooting for one team in particular. I did pick the Panthers to win in 7, and they did win the series. But would I have been furious about the Oilers winning? No. I think it would have been good. You have a Canadian team win after, like, what's it, 31 years or 30 years? No, it was 31 because now it's going to be 32 years without a Canadian team winning a cup. And if you want to see some of the most toxic conversation in the hockey internet world is Canadians and Americans going back and forth about there being no Canadian team to win a cup, and the Canadians going back about, well, you're playing with our players; they're all Canadian, so it comes back regardless. It's just entertaining, uh, at least to me. Last year was really close, but this year left felt like the Panthers dominated. You know, because it's a video I just made with my buddy Chief on the No Agenda Hockey Podcast. Kind of more of a segment we just kind of did because we were talking on the phone, like, hey, screw it, let's just chop it up on StreamYard. The one thing that did sort of surprise me this year, I felt like last year, I would agree with this. I felt like I think this past season's iteration of the Oilers was actually more talented and deeper than the year prior, where they went to the finals and lost. But man, it was a little bit disappointing. And listen, I think the goaltending situation, it's not great with the Oilers. Like Skinner, they got to figure something out there. I'm actually interested. I'll have to look. Like a guy like Brandon Bussey, played in Providence, was a solid goalie who kind of has a ceiling. Like if I'm the Oilers, I bring in all kind of upper echelon AHL goalies who at least compete for that job, or I'm trading. I mean, I'm trading for a goaltender or something. And yeah, I mean, the Canadian drought has been, absolutely freaking crazy. And, I kind of feel bad for Canadian fans because they're just so passionate. And I mean, I know before the Oilers' last couple seasons, the Habs had that, and that was that pandemic that weird pandemic year. But I think we all knew when they faced, was it Tampa? Yeah, because they were in the Canadian division. I think we all knew that year that Tampa was going to win it because Montreal made it, went on a great run. But I mean, Shea Weber, Gary Brett, they were on their last legs. And the Lightning were just such a damn good team. I think did they win that in 5? It was pretty crazy. But I mean, again, speaking about the Oilers, they need to figure out that goaltending situation. They really do. Because until they do that, this team is never going to win a cup. And due to that, Draisaitl is always going to have this weird stigma about him that Draisaitl, McDavid, I mean, even Draisaitl, about him that they'll never win. At least most American teams are made up of the Canadians. And that's the thing, right? That's the funny part about that argument. I think, and I generally want to know your opinion on this, Don. My opinion is, I think Canadian markets are really hard to play in if you're from Canada, and especially if you're from that area. And I'm not saying every situation because you have superstars in Canadian teams as well. But it feels like some of those players don't really like the hoopla that comes around being an NHLer in Canada. And I'm not really excusing that. I think you should take some pride that that's your country's, sport. Like that's the sport they dominate in and create superstars in. And then obviously there's the economic aspect of it with taxes, which people point out with Florida and Vegas having an unfair advantage, and at home they do, but there's a lot goes on with taxes. Like if you are an athlete and you go to a certain state, you have to pay their taxes. It's interesting. It's all a bunch of way above my pay scale to properly explain. But there's a bunch of Canadians winning Stanley Cups. It's just not for their hometown or for their own country, I should say. And Skinner versus Bob was not fair. Yeah, it's funny, Bobrovsky's one of these guys for a while, especially because he was struggling. And because this is the funny thing with goalies. If we all remember, Bob was benched. He was benched for Alex Lyon against that series. And I remember that vividly because I was there for the Bruins. And then when Lyon got in there, and then he kind of faltered, they went to Bob, and then ever since then, Bobrovsky has been one of the best goalies on the friggin' planet. He's always had that ability. I mean, he did win a Vezina before that. Was it in Columbus? So I think the talent was obviously always freaking there. But goalie can be a weird position. Just something happens, and maybe just a mindset changes, or just how you prepare, and just boom. He's like in his mid-30s, turns the switch, and he's back to Vezina Bob. And then, Stuart Skinner, I would say, in comparison, he's a youngish goaltender. I think he's gonna be 26 this upcoming season. But the Oilers need to kind of figure out that, because you're not going to win a Stanley Cup with him as your starter. You're just not. And Calvin Pickard, it's funny. Skinner has a higher ceiling than Pickard, but I think Pickard played better. I'm not saying he plays great. He kind of makes things look awkward at times, but I think he's an adequate backup at the NHL level. I'm not saying he's a high-end guy, but when you have a average to kind of slightly below average backup outplaying your starter, you're most likely not going to win those series. I was so surprised he didn't get the Conn Smythe. And Pickard is more consistent. Because it's like Pickard. So I'm definitely dating myself here. I mean, I already said my age of 34. Like, I remember Pickard when he was on the Colorado Avalanche, and he was looked at as one of these starter or a goalie of the future, and it just didn't pan out. So, but I mean, Pickard, he was a good goalie, I thought, and I think he's an adequate backup, but they're going to need an upgrade. And Aussie lady, hey, appreciate you popping in. Thanks for popping in the stream. If you guys are guys and girls watching this, and I guess double tap the screen or hit the like button. I don't know how this works, because I don't live stream. I make videos generally, so I apologize. I'm just kind of talking a little bit of hockey and just health in general. I am currently in Massachusetts in the United States. That's kind of where I'll say I'm at. Just kind of walking around trying to get some exercise. I'm not going to be streaming the whole walk, but trying to shoot for 8 to 10 miles if I can. Definitely, probably around, I'm probably about a mile and a quarter, if that, right now. Maybe a mile and a quarter, because I started up the stream a little bit after I was walking for a while. So maybe it actually might be a mile and a half. Yeah, see, I like morning walks as well, because it's a little bit calmer, a little bit peaceful, especially right now in the summer, where it's not stifling hot in the morning. Like, this is nice. I can be in shorts, a shirt, and my pale butt can not have to wear sunscreen. So I always enjoy that aspect of it. I was kind of glad, because I wasn't sure if it was going to rain, and glad it didn't. Ozzy said I went walking for a couple hours today. It's wintry. Oh, I imagine. Actually, I want to ask this: how cold does it get in winter? I'm assuming, as you're in Australia, I don't want to make complete assumptions. I'm assuming that. How cold does it get down there in Australia? Like during the winter, does it get pretty cold? That definitely sounds like an ignorant American thing to ask, but I genuinely don't know. I have friends that live in Mexico, where it's always kind of temperate. But in Australia, I'm assuming it could get cold down there, especially in the winter. So, listen, blame the education system here. Oh man, but yeah, I like generally nice morning walks, and I'm gonna sound like a complete and utter psycho. The even in the winter, when I was living up in Maine for a while, I'd go out walking in the morning in the winter on trails, and sometimes even in the snow. Put some snowshoes on. Again, maybe I'm just a weird psycho. Maybe I'm a psychopath. Ozzy says about 8 At night and days 17. Okay. All right. I mean, so obviously that's Celsius. Oof. Okay, that was not a wasp. Thank God, that kind of freaked me out. Not allergic. I just don't want to get stung. And do schools down there have 2-month long winter breaks and two? Huh. That's a good question. Oh, stop the fly. Jeez. I mean, that's not too bad. I know Edmonton. I have a friend of mine. She lives in Edmonton. She says it gets brutally cold down there in the winter, or up there in the winter. And I'm like, man, I don't know how you do that. That's just crazy. Absolutely excessive amount of cold. You have to bundle up to bundle up. It's actually funny. Up here in the winter, I've helped work on some ice breaking operations where it's like frozen in the bay. Past couple winters, we haven't had to really do that. But oh my God, on the water in the winter, some of those summers with the cold, not the summers, winters with some of the cold snaps, it gets like ridiculously cold. So Don, I'm assuming, are you a Florida fan, or are you just a general fan of like a different team? I'm maybe assuming Florida. Who knows? Could be completely off on that. I will say, I think Florida's going to be kind of in a good spot to maybe go for a three-peat, which is kind of nuts. You're from Washington. I don't really like the Panthers. So are you Washington D.C. Capitals fan, or are you like a Seattle Washington? Because that actually would be kind of like an interesting. Oh, so the Capitals. My uncle is a Capitals fan. He's currently lives just outside of DC. You're lucky you have to see Ovechkin. Ovechkin's such a special player. It's crazy. I didn't know. I never thought that gold record was gonna be broken. Honestly, I never thought like that would ever get broken with Gretzky just because of the amount of goals. And it's crazy that Ovi did that. Like, so the old scoring's up in a row. I'm like, goaltending's gotten so much better with the equipment, technique. It's really impressive how many goals he scored. And considering, yeah, I know, and like that's the crazy thing, right? People like, I remember last year, people like, oh, he sucks, he's terrible, he's washed, because he kind of came into not in the best of shape. But then it was crazy. He that second half of that season got red hot. I think he finished with like 20 something goals, and then this season he comes in and he just absolutely kills it. And if he comes into shape this upcoming season, like it's he's really going to be pushing that goal record out of like complete reach for everybody, which is to me is nuts. I mean, Ovechkin is just such a special talent and something you really got to appreciate it while he's here. Um, especially in the sport of hockey, like a guy, that old, scoring that many goals and still being that effective is kind of unheard of. You could probably say, I mean, Crosby's still at a really good elite level, but yeah, I mean, hats off to Ovi. He's just absolutely insane during that run. So, but yeah, I really kind of appreciate people popping through. You know, these streams, I'm going to try to figure up a better setup for the future when I got to go for walks and different stuff of that nature. Because I'm probably going to get off here in a minute just to kind of blast some music and focus the next couple hours, kind of maybe jog a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'll say this closing thoughts. I think it's important to take care of your health when you can, and try to, take care of yourself, and try to, be in good health, and try to be as good health as you possibly can. Yeah, like I said, I've lost about 10 pounds, about 5, 6 weeks. I'd like to drop down probably about 40, 45 pounds ideally would be kind of my target, just to kind of get where I feel like I'm a little bit lighter, not a little bit, a lot bit lighter, and kind of talk about just the journey overall. And we can talk about hockey, or we will not talk about politics on this channel in any way, shape, or form. Talk about hockey, talk about life when you come here. I'll probably do these in the morning. So if you're bored, you want to chat, feel free to pop in. And I'll try my best to not be so boring that it makes you fall asleep. And who knows? I think having like a stream where I'm doing this for a half hour forces me to get out, forces me to do something different, will kind of make sure I do it and keep do it with regular, or actually with regularity. So, all right, I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna go walk here for a few more hours, kind of get to it. But thanks for everybody that popped in. Appreciate y'all, and see you soon. Oh, and also, before I get out of here, probably have another video up today. I think I'm gonna talk about Orloff and, or was it, where did he go? Was it San Jose? I forget. I think we talk about a few things that kind of happen around. I'm catching up with a lot of signings and trades and that thing, and I'm also working on some career videos. So make sure you stay tuned. I'll probably have a video up today at some point, but I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.